you know.
Hard for me to think I'm heavy on a Monday.
Morning, everyone. Today is Monday, December 15th. It's our regular staff meeting. And we'll start off with the mid-month interim water review. I would call on Misty if there's any changes or modifications. She's shaking her head no. Are there questions on page 1 of 2? Anyone? Questions? Page 2 of 2. No one jump up and down. We're going to move on to staff and elected reports. And we'll call on Ida to start.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. Just messing with the video, just really staying on camera. Okay. Let's see, I do have a request. I have a note, I was given resignation by one of my deputy clerk threes. And that resignation is effective in less than 3 weeks. I would like your permission to rehire this budgeted position and start advertising as soon as possible. It'd be nice to, if I can find somebody to start transitioning, cross-training. This position is an independent position as a deputy clerk 3. They review payroll as required by auditors and several other important things that they do, but sorry to say, I have a resignation, so that's where I am right now.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Anita, this is just one of our regular employee positions, right? I mean, just, yeah. So, Mr. Chairman, I would
Yes.
Move that we approve rehiring this position.
Second for discussion.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
Eda, you'll go through human resources for definition of the position to rehire into. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Arzi, yes, this is a deputy clerk 3, which is actually has a job description through HR and a pay and a grade and is budgeted.
Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Clerk Thompson, the deputy clerk 3, is that the level of the individual that resigned?
Deputy clerk 3, there's a deputy clerk 1, 2, and 3 based on experience and what the job is. So deputy clerk 3 is who resigned.
So
Yes.
we're refilling with the same level position?
Yes,
Okay,
that's
thank you.
correct. Yeah.
Other discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Anything else, Ida? No. Misty, did you have anything else? Katie?
Thanks.
Renee?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Heidi? Mark? Nothing for me? Jesse? Sir? Robert?
Morning, Robert Gale, Sheridan County Airport Manager. I just wanted to let you know I've got a assignment of lease that will be coming your guys' way here in a couple of weeks. I've been working with Avis. Avis is currently owned, our local Avis office is owned by a company called Aero Northwest. They've got a handful of locations throughout Wyoming, Montana, and South Dakota, and it looks like our office here is being purchased by the parent company, Avis, the corporate office. So I'll recommend to your guys' way here in a couple of weeks. So I guess just to clarify, there is a location out there that's being subleased out by Avis. That shouldn't be changing. What is changing is a concessionaire lease agreement for the space inside the terminal building. That will need to be transferred to the new ownership. That's all I've got.
Questions, Robert, anyone?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
With this is off the subject, but the plans for the parking lot, when can we get a look at them?
I've got a couple exhibits I can bring to you. I presented them on Tuesday.
Yeah, I just need something bigger to look at,
Sure.
if possible.
Yeah, it's rough exhibits right now, but I can get them to you
I don't,
this morning.
I don't know. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thanks, Robert. Kimber?
Your Mr. Chairman.
Jesse, did I already call on you?
You did.
Okay. Kelly?
Good, Mr. Chairman.
You got it. Clint? Cameron?
Mr. Chairman, looks like I'm going to take up all your time today. A couple items, and I'm going to be speaking on behalf of a few departments here, and I'll have Mark speak if I incorrectly say some stuff. We're going to start with Eric and maintenance. The software we use for the outside doors that will open and close for meetings is handled by Collins Security, and we're having some issues with daylight savings time. So in the spring and in the fall, the software is not reading that the time has changed, and thus we will go to a meeting that's at 5:30 and it's not opening on time. So we're working with them to find a backdoor where we can just manually set those because the automated system isn't working. This isn't an issue just for Sheridan. This is anyone who uses this software, they're having problems with it. So just be aware that in the meantime, when Eric might tell you to prop the doors open, it's because we're not getting the software to work. So that's the first thing. You had a request last week from Ken dealing with PubWorks. That's the software that he's using. When Mark looked into it, the company's going to honor the contract through June 30th. There are some other options available, but those options we're going to put into the budget process so that it would start July 1st. So Ken and everything that they do in that software will be able to continue doing it through the end of June. So we're not going to be making a request right now for the extra 13,000 to swap. Okay. The next one is Tyler, which is our accounting software. Unbeknownst to us, about 2 years ago, they stopped pushing updates, and we have been struggling to get those updates ever since. So their solution was to move us to the cloud. It's great until we dug into the costs, and it's $131,000 to do the switch over, which as you move forward would be about $45,000 more each and every year. So Mark's working with the IT at Tyler. We're taking the salesman and myself out of this. We're going IT to IT to try to see if there's a way we can get an update onto our server, which we host the software, and get us up to speed so that we continue to move forward. They have not issued an end of life, so we can still use this software, but I spoke with the clerk and also the treasurer. Once we go to the cloud, everything gets moved over to the cloud, so the treasurer software as well. And I believe Katie's saying that she's happy with the way it is right now. So it's mostly the accounting side that we're having problems with. So the update, we're not making a request for funding. We're saying that we're going to try this workaround first and see where we stand, but that's a huge cost. And it's on them. They're not pushing updates, so it puts us into a little bit of a bind. And then the sheriff will be coming in the next few weeks. Their server that runs their body cameras and storing that data not working properly. So that request could be in the range of the 50,000. But that particular one, we will have to move forward on one way or the other. The server and what BDS has done for us in the past for IT, we just didn't keep up with the technology, so it should have been replaced a long time ago. And then lastly, we've had power outage problems with some technology, both at the sheriff's office and the airport. We'll be filing a insurance claim with that, but we're not sure of the exact cost. We will have to go through and make the payment and correct it probably in the $15,000 range, and then submit the insurance for reimbursement. The deductible on that will be about $5,000. So I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you. We're trying, and Mark's, I gotta applaud him. He's very good with dealing with these companies. They're looking for workarounds. So we're just giving you an update today, and then hoping, fingers crossed, that everything can get worked out on the IT side. Any questions on those?
Questions for Cameron?
Mr. Chairman, yeah. I don't know if you guys here or not,
Is there?
how critical is, the body cams thing is bothering me, I guess, right?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Levi, Dominguez, Sheriff, County Sheriff. So just a clarification. So the body camera server, our WatchGuard Motorola server, that's what went down for the power outage. So that's what would be, that's the insurance claim. That is critical. And so hopefully we'll get that taken care of through the insurance claim. The other is actually our camera system within the jail. Is the server and everything hasn't been updated. When we were with PDS, they weren't doing a good job updating those things. And so Mark and his team have been great looking at it. We've had some issues with it. And Mark can probably speak to this a little bit more, but that's going to need to be replaced. And that is very critical too, because that's all of our, our WatchGuard necessarily over the jail, the camera system. So if we have incidents within the jail, if we have, complaints filed against us from individuals that were incarcerated in our jail, we can go back and look at all those. They're, the storage isn't being saved properly. So we have concerns with that. It could be, release issues, public request issues and things like that. So it is very critical.
Thanks.
My apologies for.
No, that's okay.
Thanks, Levi. Anybody else have questions for Cameron? Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I see Mark here. I have a question for you on the jail and body cam. What are you looking for time? What kind of timeline are you looking at
For replacing those? So the body cam server we do have up and running again. It's functional, but it's not in a good condition. We've got it just needs to be replaced. We have it functional, but it's very just patched together. So we're looking pretty soon. We'd like to get a replacement coming for that and getting quotes on that currently. And then the jail camera one is kind of the same situation. It originally was 2 servers hosting half of 94 cameras on each server. The one server is completely dead, so we've had to move all 94 cameras onto the other server, and it's just it's dragging. There's a lot of lag. The video is kind of not optimal. I'll just say that. So it's a very, very old server. Should have been replaced years ago. So that's pretty critical and pretty urgent to get replaced as well, I would say. So we do have quotes on that. Just trying to get these couple things together to present to you guys.
Thanks.
And Mr. Chairman, so at least part of the body cam thing should be covered by this insurance claim, is that right?
We believe so, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay. Mr. Jennings.
The only thing, I actually had a question for Sheriff Dominguez, and unfortunately he sat back down. Just a quick question. I wanted to see update on Red Grid Road if it's been closed for the year.
It hasn't. I spoke with Rick Young last week. He called. They were going up to do kind of a starting to groom on the west side of Red Grid, so off of Highway 14. And start making their way, grooming some trails. He was supposed to call and give me an update to see what that looked like and where they went. He hasn't yet. I'll give him a call later this afternoon, but we'll take a look at that and see. up by the foothills, and I don't know, but there's a lot more snow here in Sheridan than there is actually up closer to Red Grade and, Bear Gulch and all that. The weather pattern up there, the wind's been really warm. I think it was like 70 degrees on the face of the Bighorns yesterday. And so it's still safe, I think, at this time, but I'll touch base with Road and Bridge and with Rick Young to kind of see where they're at, because we might do what we did last year, where if they can only groom to Twin Lakes, we could keep, for the cabin owners and stuff, we can maybe keep that open to wheeled vehicles, maybe looking through Christmas, maybe after the first of the year, depending on what the roads look like. And then as they are able to start grooming further, coming off of the base, then we'll look at start closing that. The issue we run into is that the Forest Service closed all their Forest Service roads on the 15th. So we'll have to get some good messaging out. If you're on that, county road, you can stay on, 26 up until it's closed. You just can't start veering off into the Forest Service road. So we'll keep an eye on it.
I appreciate that. We'll see what the nice warm weather for the next couple of days does.
Yeah.
So,
Have you been up? Have you?
No, but I know you're right with the inversion that was going on yesterday. It was, a lot of stuff melted off the face.
Yeah.
thank you.
I would add that there was 80-mile-an-hour winds up there. I know a friend of mine lost a window out of a fairly new house.
Oh,
Just flat. Yeah, blew that hard.
okay.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Mr. Arcee?
Just working on some stuff, trying to see if we can alleviate some of the county's, say this, the tax on the county budget a little bit now. Just in the preliminary, working with WCCA and stuff, trying to get some of the legislators involved, trying to get some money back into the county.
Very good.
Working on that for a while.
Thank you. Mr. Siddle?
Well, I'd just like to remind all of our staff that we have our staff luncheon on Wednesday. I'd like to make sure that all the employees are invited to the staff luncheon on Wednesday. And Kelly, is that's scheduled from 11 o'clock to?
It's 11:30 to 2:30.
11:30 to 2:30, okay? We'll be in room 210, so please do that. And then remind everyone that the Chamber's legislative session is at City Hall on Friday all day, where all the municipalities, all the organizations get their chance to present to the legislators. I will be the monitor for the early morning session for that. I know Commissioner Wright will be doing a presentation on behalf of the county for that. And the legislator, RSVP, Senator Biteman, said that he had a conflict, and Representative Kelly responded that he would not be attending, but the other legislators all should be present. So it's usually a really informative session, and invite anybody down. It's open to the public, and it's at the City Hall chambers. That's all I have.
Very good. You stole my lightning and thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. I don't have anything else to add. So next on the agenda, I see Brad Bauer here, Deputy Director of Sheridan Community Land Trust.
Morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Brad Bauer, Sheridan Community Land Trust. Almost forgot the name of the organization. I've only been there 8 years. As you know, brains get mixed up this morning. So I like this opportunity once a quarter to come in and just share what we've been up to and where we're going. Looks like the update I have is mostly what we've just accomplished this year. So last time I presented, I shared a little bit about our virtual fence project that we're doing with 3 different ag producers. We had a workshop out at the Big Goose Natural Area, our office, last month. We had 25 ag producers show up, and I know Commissioner Siddle and Commissioner Arcee were interested. And I would extend that invite still. We have 20 or 25 mother cows out there that are collared, so you can come out and see that project anytime you like.
Awesome.
We did wrap up the season with that virtual fencing with those 3 producers, and then we were able to put in a mile of new wildlife-friendly fencing as well at the Goose Natural Area. So those 2 projects kind of high points of our conservation work this year. In history, we're zeroing in on closing our third historic preservation easement. It's a project that the Historic Preservation Commission helped us about a year ago in securing a cost for a survey. This is a house east of town. These historic preservation easements are rare for us to do. Like I said, it's just the third. And we learned a lot through this process, including the challenges of working on employing this tool on a property that has a mortgage. So the whole mortgage subordination component of the project took a year, 2 years of kind of black hole, black box nothingness, but we were making our way through it. We did move streetcar 115 about a month ago to the Big Goose Natural area. You might have seen some coverage on that. It moved from out there at Higby Road, I think it was, to the office area. And with some help from some generous community members, we'll be putting a Cleary building roof over it here in the next month or two. That'll allow us to get it out of the weather. And then we'll start the process of mostly through volunteers and a little bit of grants, I'm sure, to start putting life back into that neglected piece of Sheridan history. Recreation, we closed the summer with constructing 4 new trails this year. One is a bike-only trail, one is a walk-only trail, and 2 of those 4 are a multi-use trail. One of those trails is a 2-mile mode trail out to the Goose Natural area, just west of town. Lots and lots of dog owners, rather, have been using that trail, which has been fun to see. And the other 3 were part of that Red Trail system that we have the partnership with the county with. We were able to accomplish 3 more sections of that right before the snow hit. And I know that third of those 3 was a biking trail, and it got used hard before the winter set in, which is great because it helps it set the trail up for a better place for next spring. It gets that traffic on it that helps set the tread. So that's kind of it for our 3 areas. I invited Commissioner Siddle and Commissioner Arzi, but the rest of the commissioners are always welcome to come out and see the updates that we've done to the property, the Big Goose Natural area, just 4 miles from Main Street. We just completed a remodel of the middle of the office with WAP Foundation funding, as we're making that center of the office more of an education space, classroom, a little bit of light interpretation on natural history, and recreation. That's it for us.
Very good, Brad. Questions for Brad?
Mr. Chairman, so Brad, I noticed that there's, by the entryway there going in along the west side of the road, there's some construction going on there. Are you a part of that, or can you enlighten us a little bit on what's going on there?
At the office, you're saying?
Yeah, to where you turn off Big Goose and then right there on the west side of the road headed toward the office.
Yeah, that's a great question, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Siddle. That property is in front of our property. That's owned by Bridges. And they have a vision, hard for me to speak completely for them, but they have a vision of making that also a community space, relocating the road, adding in another lacrosse field, adding in a pedestrian bridge to serve the gymnasium that they remodeled out there, adding in some parking to serve that gymnasium. So I know they just embarked on, I believe it's a year-long project. What you're seeing out there is them scraping to put that road in, stockpiling soil for landscaping. But yeah, give it a year, I guess, and hopefully that vision will come together. But are we part of it? No, but we're a neighbor. Right. And we certainly will utilize that parking for commissioners and community members who've come out to our barbecues the last couple of years. The Bridges have generously allowed us to park on their parking lots that were next to the football field out there. And I'm sure we'll be using their new parking lots as well for that.
I know I had called planning and zoning because I had a question. Somebody asked me the question. They go, "What's in the county? You ought to know what's going on." And so I called planning and zoning, and they said, "Well, it's their property, and they didn't have to apply for a building permit because they're not building any buildings. They're just doing landscaping, basically, and some different things." And I said, "Okay, good enough." So
yeah.
Anyway, but I appreciate
the possibilities there for a future building, but it's hard for me to.
Right.
And it's not my product, so
Right. No. I just knew that you would be up to date as to what's going on.
I get to drive by it every day. There's some progress happening, despite it being kind of wintry. They're putting road base in, and yeah, you can see where that road will go in.
And I will just say on your virtual fencing deal that, I was in a meeting last week where Amy Ormseth from the Forest Service was speaking, and of course, they lost hundreds of miles of fence during the fire on the mountain. And she was very excited about the possibility of some virtual fencing down the road, making it so that they might not have to rebuild as many of those fences as they thought. And so she was certainly very appreciative of your project. So just thought I'd let you know that.
Yeah, I mean, barbed wire has been around for over 100 years, and it's still going to be a tool, right? It's still going to be part of the toolbox, but this is just another aspect of animal husbandry. So, yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Brad, I have a question for you. Maybe you can answer, maybe not. Those collars on those cows, they work off battery, right? How often do you gotta replace the battery in those collars?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Arzy, my understanding of the Halter brand is what we're using right now. They have the collar sits back here, and there's two solar panels off to the left and the right, which also allow them to have audible signals as well. So there's the solar panels allow for those collars to last 5 years, but with the way that the panels are sat rather on their necks, they can use that sound also as part of the fencing infrastructure. So as the cow comes towards the virtual fence, it can get a left sound, it'll steer it to the right, or it can get a right sound, it'll steer it to the left, or if it just heads it straight on, it'll beep as well. Then when they get past, if you get past that fence, they get like a vibration as well to send them to know that they're past the fence before, or instead after they get the light electrical shock. So I haven't actually had one on myself yet, obviously. But it's pretty neat, sophisticated aspects of moving the animal more than just shocking them.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Brad, on the streetcar, are there any plans in the future for renovation?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Jennings, plans are yes. How am I going to get there? I don't know yet, but we signed with Cleary to put this roof on, which will buy us a bunch of time. Get it out of the elements. Then probably using a mixture of local foundation dollars and Wyoming Cultural Trust Fund dollars, and hopefully some funding from Daughters of American Revolution. There's not a lot of different sources for historic preservation dollars we're finding. We'll start piecing it together. Likely we'll get some donation of materials and a lot of volunteer time. So we'll be looking for both interested community members and even better skilled carpenters that are interested in helping put that back together. It was restored in 1976, which is interesting. We moved it almost. There's a big rock that came with it that celebrated that restoration in 1976, and we moved it almost 50 years to the day. So that restoration was 50 years old, and so we'll embark on, hopefully, I hope our restoration will last a lot longer because it'll be out of those elements. But the various steps I still don't know yet, but there's a lot of, the roof is not particularly cheap, and we were able to pay for it with community member dollars. I think there's a lot of community interest in seeing it hold again.
I was just gonna say, I think probably there's a lot of community members in Sheridan, the county that would be interested in hopefully putting some money towards that. Because it is such an iconic piece of our history.
I hope that we can, at the very least, you'll be able to stand and look at it and celebrate the history of interpretive signs and such. I'd really like it that way. We could actually get in it. But I called Kevin Apps, our history program manager. I called him last Monday and said, hey, the bumper fell off. So the thing is falling apart, right? So like hopefully we can get people in there, but we'll only be able to get people in there if it's safe. And we haven't gotten into how much dry rot there is. We'll find out. It'll be a fun adventure. So yeah. Jump on board the streetcar adventure with us. So,
Anybody else questions for Brad? Thank you, Brad. Appreciate your
Happy
time.
holidays.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
Commissioner
Thank you.
Oh, God. Where's my daughter going from music?
I'm still wondering what my bill's gonna do.
Alpine thing, yeah. It was great, but yeah, sorry. Segue that I can't remember the name for, so thank you.
Thanks, Brad. And with that, we're gonna be adjourned at 9:30.